Whoa! Who's doing the talking?
The movie opens with Lee and Fodes secretly watching the headquarters of a drug gang. Before the raid, Lee gives Fodes a watch as a keepsake. They move in, but the building looks empty. Seeing no activity, they pull back and continue to monitor from outside. The thieves were actually hiding inside the headquarters, waiting for the right time. Suddenly, they came out and opened fire, hitting Lee. Fodes fought back fiercely and took down all but one of them. Thinking it was over, he let his guard down, and the last thug stabbed him, turning the fight around. Just as the attacker closed in to finish him, Lee struck first. Fearing an explosion, Lee ordered roadblocks and told civilians to evacuate. The danger was stopped, but he later died from his injuries. 4 months later in Nevada, police chased a gang after a daring heist. As officers closed in, one criminal hacked their communication system, cut the signal, and helped the gang escape. That night, authorities confirmed the gang had stolen $10 million from a city casino. Soon after their identities were revealed, a man named Banks led the job, but Lawson, an experienced veteran, was the real mastermind. Right after the heist, Lawson drove off in the getaway car, determined to erase all evidence of their involvement. Moments after Lawson left, Banks and his crew opened the bag of loot and were shocked to find a ticking bomb inside. Their escape was cut off, leaving them trapped. Banks then realized the truth. Lawson had betrayed them, stolen the money, and set a trap to kill his own crew. Desperate, Banks tried to stop the bomb while far away. Lawson calmly took out his phone, ready to detonate and finish his plan. Banks disabled the bomb just in time, narrowly escaping Lawson's trap. Refusing to be defeated, he and his crew swore to hunt Lawson down. Banks told Geary, their hacker, to track Lawson through a hidden device he had secretly placed on his clothes. Meanwhile, the story shifts to Fodes, who is spending a peaceful day in the countryside with his daughter. But when he hears that Kim is going to meet a friend, he grows uneasy, sensing that danger may be near. Right after his daughter left, Fodes started getting his gear ready for a hunting trip with a friend. But his plans ended when the police chief called, ordering him to come to the station at once. There, he was shocked to learn that Kim had been accused of shoplifting at a convenience store. At the station, she was being questioned about her connection to larceny, while Banks and his crew were also present, asking the chief for help in finding Lawson. Each group followed its own plan, unaware of the danger ahead. Lawson was hiding deep in the forest, while Banks' crew searched for a way to reach him. Moving steadily through woodland, Lawson pushed toward the border. Back at the police station, Fodes arrived and quickly noticed 2 of Banks' men outside. As he walked closer, Dominica stepped forward with a gun in hand, ready to attack. Fodes demanded answers, and Banks explained that he wanted the police chief's help to track a fugitive hiding in the city's forest. When the chief refused, Banks and his crew took control of the police station, where Fodes' daughter Kim was being held. Sensing the rising tension, Fodes agreed to help Banks find Lawson, but only if Kim and the police chief were released. Banks freed Kim, but then coldly executed the chief. As this happened, one of Banks' men aimed a gun at Fodes from behind. He spun around to fight back, but his gun was empty. With no other choice, he obeyed Banks' orders, knowing any resistance could put Kim's life in danger. Fodes kept it secret that Kim was his daughter. The hunt began when Banks' crew took Kim hostage and soon found Lawson's car, along with the tracking device he had used. But this also meant they could no longer follow his path through the forest. Terrified by the criminal's threats, Kim was comforted by her father, who promised they would find a way to escape. Fodes saw Kim ask Dominica for permission to step away, but soon after, he heard her desperate screams. One of Banks' men was trying to assault her. Enraged, Fodes attacked and brutally took the man down. Seeing the chaos, Banks ordered Jensen to kill Fodes and remove any threat. Suspecting a close bond between Fodes and Kim, Banks aimed to shoot Fodes. In panic, Kim cried out and called him Dad, revealing their secret. Meanwhile, the hacker used the chaos to launch a new move, grumbling about exhaustion and the lack of water as the hunt grew more intense. Annoyed by the hacker's behavior, Jensen forced him to drink his own urine. Humiliated, the hacker exploded in anger, and a violent fight broke out between them. Amid the chaos, Fodes urged Kim to run, but Banks stepped in at the last moment, threatening to kill them both if they tried again. After a long day of walking, the group rested and soon fell asleep. Taking the chance, Fodes tried to free Kim, but Jensen caught him and slapped him hard. The next morning, they continued their pursuit toward the Canadian border, hoping to find Lawson. Along the way, Fodes noticed a partially burned map proof that Lawson had used it for a campfire, showing he wasn't far ahead. While resting in a tree, the hacker discovered the body of Fodes' friend, who had gone hunting earlier. After confirming the death, Fodes realized that Lawson, a former member of Banks' crew, was responsible. They continued their search and eventually found Lawson slumped against a tree, tired and injured, evidence of a recent fight with Fodes' friend. Banks quickly questioned Lawson about the stolen money, but Lawson refused to answer and mocked them as foolish thieves who were easy to trick. His taunting angered everyone, including Dominica, and they executed him immediately. With Lawson dead, Banks and his crew lost interest in the money, but Kim suggested checking the river near Lawson's likely hideout, hoping he might have hidden the cash there. Kim suggested checking the river to buy time and delay her and her father's execution, since the gang now saw them as useless. They found the money, but it was perched dangerously on a cliff, too risky to take. Seeing a chance, Fodes offered a deal. He would get the money in exchange for Kim's freedom. Banks refused the deal, saying Kim would only be freed once he had the money. After a difficult climb, Fodes managed to get the money. But as soon as Banks took it, he opened fire on Fodes and Jensen and then cut the rope. The ground below gave way, and they fell into the abyss. As Banks was about to kill Kim, she revealed she knew a way out of the wilderness, which made him change his mind. He decided to keep her alive, and following her lead, the group left the dense forest. Along the way, Geary, attracted to Kim, suggested starting a relationship, but she refused, which made him angry. Geary attacked Kim, but Dominica quickly stepped in and took him down. Tired of his behavior, Banks and his crew decided to leave Geary behind. Meanwhile, Fodes, still alive, buried himself to survive his gunshot wounds and stay hidden. When he found a backpack with emergency supplies, he discovered a crossbow, a weapon that could give him the advantage. After a long day, Banks and the remaining gang members took a break to eat, only for Jensen to discover that all their food was in Geary's backpack. Meanwhile, Geary, still alive, was enjoying a lavish meal in the wilderness, but the isolation of the dense forest made him uneasy. The fear of a wild animal attack kept him on edge. Meanwhile, Fodes quietly prepared his arrows for a counterattack. Using his crossbow, he quickly took out Geary, who was away from the group. When he learned that Kim was heading toward the border, Fodes saw a chance to plan his next move. The next morning, as Banks and his gang continued their journey, Kim stayed determined, believing her father was still alive. Kim left a small clue to guide her father, believing he was still alive and looking for her. As the others moved on, Jensen stopped by the roadside to light a cigarette. Seeing him alone, Fodes appeared and confronted him. Although Fodes was bigger, Jensen's strength and combat skills let him repeatedly overpower Fodes, making him a dangerous opponent. Fodes finally defeated Jensen, stabbing him with a sharp wooden shard. When Banks and Dominica called for him and got no answer, they left him behind. Meanwhile, Kim believed her father had succeeded. After a long journey, as the group neared the Canadian border, Fodes appeared, throwing a heavy log at Banks, setting the stage for their final confrontation. The log hit Dominica instead, killing her instantly and enraging Banks. He threatened to kill Kim if Fodes tried to interfere again. Banks aimed his gun at Fodes, but fell into a trap and was pushed into a ravine. With the situation turning in Fodes' favor, Banks persuaded Kim to keep following the path toward the nearest border. Fodes regained his focus and continued tracking Banks, but it seemed Banks and Kim had already reached the border. There, Banks killed 3 campers to avoid being caught. When his gun ran out of bullets, he planned to knock Kim unconscious and escape on a motorcycle. Just then, Fodes appeared and told Kim to go get help. When Banks reached a nearby settlement, he quickly hid after hearing engines approaching. Realizing Fodes was chasing him, he frantically looked for a way out. He took shelter in an abandoned warehouse, but Fodes soon found him. After a fierce fight, Fodes defeated Banks. Without wasting time, he left the warehouse carrying a bag of money, a symbol of his survival and victory. Kim was reunited with her father just as Banks appeared. Banks insulted Kim in front of Fodes, which made him furious. In a flash, Fodes drove a motorcycle into Banks and set it off, killing him in a massive explosion. With Banks dead, Fodes rescued Kim. After days of danger and struggle, father and daughter were finally together again.